What is good, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for taking out some time, clicking on this video and deciding to hang out with me for the next couple of minutes. My name is Carissa Cupido for those of you who are new, and if you haven't been to this part of the woods just yet, do remember to subscribe to my channel if you're into all things vintage and thrifted style, if you're into all things hair, beauty and makeup, if you're into things traveling, if you are into things purpose pursuing. You know, Solange told us do nothing without intention, and that definitely is the point of this channel. I'm trying to show you what it looks like to live a purpose-driven life, the ups, the downs, the challenges, and hopefully share a couple of gems along the way as well. So if you're into all of those sorts of things, do make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, please hit that notification bell so at any point, which is once a week when I do upload a video, you'll be the first person to know. So coming off of last week's video, I got a lot more messages and DMs and also just kind of validation that this is definitely some of the content that all of you would love to see, where if you are interested in broadcasting, if you're interested in radio and TV, it's kind of similar in your approach to it. I happen to have a couple of years of experience in the commercial space. So last week, of course, I shot with an incredible guy. His name is Nathaniel. You can find him on Instagram on View My Canvas, and he came up with this really cool idea where he wanted to vlog a day in the life basically, and we ended up just kind of showcasing what it looks like to be on radio. I think that there's a lot of smoke and mirrors when it comes to this, but the reality is that it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of resilience as well. It takes a very big bounce back type attitude that you are going to need to harness. You need to toughen up that skin and truly just show up for yourself wherever and however you possibly can. So in this video, I'm going to be answering some of your questions, and hopefully it will help you, even if it's just one person along with their journey as well. I hope you guys don't mind how chilled I am in this video. I tried a new setup, and also I just wanted to kind of relax into it because it is a topic that can bring up a lot of residual anxiety on my part, especially because I've been off commercial radio for about 2-3 months now, and just trying to find my feet, trying to find my identity, when for the past couple of years, I would say good couple of years, I positioned myself solely as a radio and TV presenter. And when you're not visibly working at that, when you're not producing content that people can go, oh, you're part of this FM, oh, you're part of this channel, it makes it a little bit more difficult to secure your self-esteem into something. So I've been on this journey lately where I've just been trying to find myself again and realizing more and more that no sort of acclamation, no sort of title, no sort of dream job of mine in any capacity defines who I am. It doesn't contribute to my worth, and it definitely doesn't take away from that either. Now this one I would say is probably the most frequently asked question, and 100% you can. To give you a bit of background to my studies, I've done 2 degrees so far. I say so far because I'm still planning on studying a little bit further. I did my undergrad at UCT and I did a triple major. So basically I did media studies, English literature, and also social anthropology, and I felt like those really married together very well with my personality anyway, and also with my ambitions that I wanted. I've got such a keen interest in human stories and also human behavior, and I think that pairs really well with both media and also of course anthro. After 3 really tough years, I just felt like I needed to conclude my studies with 1 more year doing my honors, and for me it was a toss-up between studying English in my honors or studying social anthropology, and then choosing a focus from that point onwards. But I had to just make that decision at the end of the day, which discipline would give me more tools, more skills to be able to continue to do what I needed to do. I think that English is great, but that wasn't the direction that I wanted to go at the moment. I thought and felt like anthropology, in terms of the methodology that you do your studies with, would help and benefit me in so many more ways. And also I could focus my thesis around some sort of human behavior, human problem, human interest. Whereas with my English thesis, my proposal was all about something a little bit more abstract. That was a really roundabout way of saying that no, you do not need a specific media degree to become a broadcaster. I'm a huge campaigner for education, so I would suggest going for some sort of degree in whatever capacity or diploma or certificate, because I do think it will just benefit you at the end of the day. But if formal education is not for you, that's also completely fine. Then I would suggest you just have something else in your arsenal that would kind of contribute to your experience. Which brings me to my next point. I do believe in the power of experience. So while I was studying, I was doing radio throughout. In those 4 years, I moved and bounced around from being a newsreader to being a co-host to joining a drive time team to having my own lunchtime show, my own brunch time show. So I was garnering those sorts of practical skills that I would need to become a broadcaster, so that when I did leave at the end of 4 years, I wasn't just left confused. And I think it is a little bit more difficult when you don't have a carved out path for you, when you didn't study law and now need to become a lawyer, when you studied something a little bit more general perhaps, and now you literally need to create your own blueprint for what you want your life to be. But it is possible. Like, I'm doing this right now, and I've been doing it for about 4 years now, and I would say that it shouldn't be romanticized, but 100% it is hella rewarding. So many of you might actually be on campus radio right now and trying to figure out, what do I do, Carissa, to transition from, either community radio station or campus radio station into commercial radio? And that is a big leap, because now you are a really small fish trying to make it into this huge pond. It gets very competitive and it gets a little bit more difficult the bigger you go. So you get campus radio station, which is a bit smaller. You get community radio station, which might be a bit more specific, like you get Christian radio stations, Muslim radio stations, or just a radio station there for the community in whatever capacity. And then you get commercial radio station, and within that there are different sorts of layers. You get provincial radio stations, and then you get national radio stations. And you can imagine that the more you're trying to climb up this ladder, depending on what your ambition is, the more difficult it does become. Now, I wouldn't necessarily suggest trying to jump from campus or from community radio into national radio. I think your job is going to be a little bit more difficult. There'll be more obstacles in your way. I would suggest getting as much commercial exposure and experience as possible. Now, I know your next question is going to be, how do I do this? I've had a couple of people say that they've sent their demo multiple times to radio stations. Who do you send it to? What do you put together? And how do you get the attention of whoever is supposed to be on the other side of that? So let me try to break it down in a way that I did it, and also in a way that might make a little bit more sense to you, and also in a way that could be attainable. So I would say you have two options for this. Either you are on air right now on a community radio station or a campus radio station, and you can listen back to a couple of your shows with yourself, maybe even with your current station manager or program manager, and you can put together a curated kind of demo. This is something that I did with my first demo that I sent out. I sat down with my PM at the time at UCT Radio, and we kind of went through a couple of shows and chose parts that really showcased my personality, showcased what I had to bring to the table, and also showcased my skills in terms of what I can do on air, what I can do with a caller, what I can do with an interview as well. And I would say your second option, if you have access to this, is to actually book studio time and curate a demo as if the show was for that particular radio station. Now, this might take some time because you might have to create a couple of demos, but I do think that that little personal touch might actually work in your favor. So you could do a demo curated for Good Up FM, for example, and listen to the station enough to know what they sound like, how you can fit into it, how you can bring some flair to it as well. Listen to the kind of music that they play so that you could do throw forwards and throwbacks. Listen to the content that they also create, so when it comes to your demo, it doesn't necessarily feel out of place. So what you basically could do is curate a demo, create a demo that's about, I would say, 1.5 to maybe pushing 3 minutes long. I doubt every PM will listen to 3 minutes of your voice. I'm sure they can capture your essence within the first 1.5, but just to give them options, that might actually be a really good way to go. So what you basically have to do is create your demo, package it really nicely, maybe write a little email as well. If you want to include your experience in the email, that might actually count in your favor, and add a little bit of spark, a little bit of flair to it too if you want to, just to show that you're not a stock image, that you are actually a personality that could add value to their team. And what you would do is send that to the program manager at the station. That would require some research on your part. Ask around, ask different people. If they don't want to give it to you, that's their thing. If they do, that's really awesome for you. That doesn't guarantee that you're going to get listened to. It does possibly guarantee that you will get an email address that you can send your demo to. Now, I would suggest kind of casting your net quite wide. I wouldn't focus on one radio station and just put all your eggs in one basket and hope to the radio gods that they will accept you there, because you never know what's going on behind the scenes. Maybe their lineup's already full, maybe they're not looking to get new talent at the moment. So I would suggest that if you do have access to it, sending it to as many radio stations as possible so that you'll have more options to get on somewhere. You can't always expect feedback when it does come to you sending out your demos, because as you can imagine with any other job applicant, but probably even more so if you are a program manager, it gets a little bit difficult to answer thousands upon thousands of emails and to kind of sift through it and find the good ones. If you go back to a couple of videos ago, I did a talk at a conference called Inspire, basically talking about my journey and how I got on air. Now, I do believe that timing is everything. I believe that luck kind of also plays into it, preparation as well, opportunity too. But I think that, you know, being persistent and showing how badly you want something to prove to yourself and possibly to show to the person or the job or the station that you are trying to get onto, I think it could be a good look. Now, I'm not saying be a pest. I'm not saying, you know, harass people, because that's just not cute on anybody. But I think follow-ups are really important. So send your demo through, follow up with another email, give it a couple of days though, put a tracker on your email to see if they've opened it or not, and I would give it a couple of follow-ups with some gaps in between. It's not always going to work out the way that you want to, so I think just kind of having patience with the process of it all really will count in your favor. I really love this question because it's something that I have been going back and forth in my mind about for quite some time. But I think that's a me problem and more to do with my anxiety and that making me feel like I might be an inconvenience. And that question is all around mentors. Whether or not you need a mentor, whether or not I have a mentor, whether or not I'm looking to get a mentor, whether or not I'm trying to be a mentor. And it's always a difficult one because number one, I think people really are busy. I think people, I mean, I can speak for myself in my own capacity. I can't even see the space that I can allow somebody else to come in and maybe watch me, to come in and ask me questions, to constantly be accountable to somebody else's growth. Maybe I'm a little bit too green and still in the beginning stages of my career. Maybe I'll have more patience and more time when I've been doing this for, 25 years. It's a bit of a tricky subject that I think I'm still honestly trying to figure out. I think right now I am in a better position to approach people and also to have access to certain people that I've admired for years, that I've admired since I was a child, to maybe inquire from them if they'd be willing to have me job shadow them, to have me spend some time with them, a day with them, buy them coffee, and just maybe chat to them about that. But just being in this Joburg space as well, I know that time is money, and I know that either I gotta pay for a consultation or I just have to also kind of leverage myself in the whole equation. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe people are just out there willing to connect, to chat, to encourage, to help grow, to walk alongside individuals that are really hungry, that are really ambitious and driven. But I'm yet to find that out, and I'm yet to figure that out. I think I've just really been trying to do this thing on my own for quite some time. My boyfriend's been a great help as well. But I think chatting to people within the industry is very helpful. Not everyone is like me, an open book and willing to share information. But that's okay. I think you just kind of have to suss it out and move along if somebody is not trying to be that person for you. And eventually I'm hoping that if you or I knock on enough doors, that the right ones will open. There's always this inner dialogue that I have with myself, which is when to just, call it quits, and when to take things as signs to know that this is not the direction that I should be going in, and does one shut door mean that that's a no-go and I should just pursue something else entirely. And I think truly, honestly, that is up to you. I have listened to many a podcast that basically believe in the second, third, fourth, fifth chance of pursuing a career. I just kind of think gone are the days of, taking a career as the sole thing that you are going to do. So becoming a doctor, for example, and dedicating your entire existence to that until you are 6 feet under. Some people like to do that, and that's the way that they're wired, or maybe they feel the pressure or responsibility to continue doing that. But as human beings, we are multi-dimensional. We can be multi-hyphenate beings. I hold many positions at the same time, and I think that that's definitely the direction that we are going in. Also, many streams of revenue. You cannot just rely, especially in broadcasting, on one platform to provide your entire life's needs. Because at the end of the day, when contract negotiations come around, whether it be on TV, on radio, on different shows, and you are not chosen for the next radio year or for the next show, for the next season, whatever it may be, what are you going to do? I would suggest exploring so many ways of being. I would suggest being a lifelong learner. I would suggest really trying to get in as much experience as possible. I would suggest just seeing life as a learning. I get really passionate and excited about that because I think that life really has endless possibilities. I believe in alignment, and I believe in doing things that really serve you. I believe in doing things that work in your favor. I believe in doing things that make you feel good. I mean, we only have one life. You don't want to spend it doing things that you are going to regret in a couple of years, or doing things that is going to make you bitter and resentful. And yes, I know I'm speaking from a place of privilege saying that, but if you have the opportunity to, I would suggest walking around the world with quite an open heart and an open mind, just honestly being a sponge, being ready to absorb, being ready to take things on, being ready to be challenged, and not be scared of new experiences, because a new version of yourself will forever show up. You might think that you won't be able to get through another year of sending your demos without hearing a response, but in that time it might be preparation season for you to have a huge door open for you in future. Or maybe in that time you get to explore other things like podcasting, like YouTubing, like website building. Your creativity really is endless, and I think that all of it will count in your favor at the end of the day. I hope this helped a little bit. I hope you have a little bit more insight into the radio world, the broadcasting world, what you can expect, and also possibly what you can do to get your pinky toe in the door. On my side, I wish you all the luck. I truly do believe that there is space for all of us to shine and be great. Just know that there is no linear path to purpose pursuing, to really going for your dreams 100%. So you just kind of have to always take account of where you're at and check in with yourself and make sure you're happy. Check in with yourself and make sure that you're still on the right path, whatever that path might be for you, or that you're headed in a direction that you think will definitely serve you. No, I'm not going to create your demo for you. No, I'm not going to listen to 500 demos. No, I'm not going to help you get onto a radio station. I've given you some tips and some hacks and some skills and some information to help you get to the next step. So good luck. I'm really rooting for you and hoping for the best for whatever you are trying to achieve in your life. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all of you being with me on my journey of my own passion and purpose pursuing. It's been a really treacherous and beautiful journey so far, and I know it's just the beginning. Until next time, here is to more growing and becoming. You can come here now. You've been staring at me this entire time, haven't you? I'll see you guys in the next one.